Hi all and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming over and joining us for another video. Sorry about the noise in the background, but the hot air is blowing for the heater. Right, so another video on some resin trials. I've been contacted by a company called HTVront asking me if I would like to do some trials on some colours that they supply for epoxy resin. There's 24 different colours in here, loads of vibrant colours. We've got yellows, reds, blues, greens, purple, oranges, really nice colours. So what my plan is, I'm going to try and use these to make pieces for another project, and hopefully we'll end up with a finished project at the end of it. So my plan is to mix these up and see how vibrant the colours are, how well the colours come out, how much we actually need to make a vibrant colour, and how well they actually mix with the resin that I use. I'm going to be using the dipoxy resin as always. Link will be for that in the description. I'll also put a link for these in the description as well, and I'll also put a link for these as well. I'm making some jelly, or actually not jelly, but resin gummy bears. I bought these molds the other day after seeing Jennifer from Jennifer's Wood Creations, or Jennifer's Craft and Creation, sorry. She made some pen blanks with gummy bears in, so I thought it'd be quite awesome to make some gummy bear figures. And then my plan is, once I get loads of different colours, so I'm going to try and make 8 to 10 different colours of them, then we're going to mix them into a blank with clear resin, something like this, but with gummy bears rather than offcuts that is in this one. And then we'll turn maybe an egg or something, I don't know, I'm not quite sure what we're going to turn yet, but we'll see what comes out. I'm looking forward to seeing how vibrant these colours come out, because it's always nice to have solid vibrant colours. I think some of these will be translucent, which is not a problem, but that's what we're going to find out, how clear they are, how you know, how they hold their colour and things like that. Obviously you don't want to be putting a whole tub of colour in to make the colour you want, so we need to see how like I say, how vibrant the colours come through the minimum amount of pigment. So I'll get set up, I'll get some resin mixed, I'll come back to you guys when the resin's mixed, and then we'll split it into small tubs, and then we'll see how these colours react to the resin. So I'll see you in a bit. So I've lined up all the colours that we've got. We've gone for a white, yellow, loads of different purples, several different reds, a few greens, and then we've got into our blues, and then there's a coffee one, and then a brown one and a black one. So there's a vast array of colours, and obviously you can mix the colours to make specific colours that you want. So what I'm going to do is I like vibrant colours, so we're going to go for yellows, purples, reds, greens, blues, and colours like that. So I've got 6. I've done it, so I've got 6 tubs here, weighed out about 550 grams of resin. So what we'll do is we'll do this one first, and we'll fill up our trays. I don't know how much resin we'll need to fill our trays, so we'll fill our trays with all the different colours, and then we'll come back and make some more, because like I said, I want several different colours. So let's start off with the yellow. This is just yellow on it. Actually, I'll put my glasses on. So this is lemon yellow, this one. So we'll put this one on first one, and we'll just see. Obviously they're sealed. Just cut the tip off. We'll just see. Don't want to put too much in to start with, because I want to see how concentrated the colours are. Obviously we don't want to put loads in and not need it really. So as you can see, it's a nice yellow. It's perhaps going to be a translucent yellow once we mix, you know, you get a thin coat of it, but at the moment it's quite a nice, just put a little bit more in there, but it's quite a nice vibrant yellow, that is. I like that. Mixing well, no problems with mixing straight into the resin, so there's no problems there. So let's go for a purple. So we've got purple, purplish red, purple, several different purples, lavender purple. Let's go for just grape purple and see what that comes out like. Again, I don't need major amounts in. Nice and easy mixing, and as you can see, it's a translucent colour, which is not a problem. Always adds nice effects for different things. just going to put a little bit more in, just see if we can get a little bit stronger. And just remember, whenever you're using a pigment, make sure you shake them well first. I did shake all these before I stood them up. That's quite a nice purple, that is. So I'm intrigued by this purplish red. So I'm going to try a bit of that. So just give it a good shake. Like I say, I shook them all before I stood them up, should I say. Oh, that's nice. It's like a black currant red, that is. Really nice colour, that is. I like that. What we'll do is we'll mix them again before we actually start putting them into our moulds. So now we're going to move on to the reds. So we have grapefruit red, red, that's a pink, and then that's an orange. So let's try grapefruit red. That's a nice red. That's a proper red. You find with some pigments that are red, they go purple or pinky purple when you actually mix them in resin, but that's quite a nice vibrant red, that is. Just put a little bit more. So you can see a nice vibrant red. So let's move on to an orange. Give it a shake, shall I? Absolutely perfect. No problems mixing whatsoever. They mix perfectly in straight away. Really happy with that. Some pigments you have to sort of struggle to mix them in, but they're mixing them really well. And again, they're all translucent colours. So right, so the final one, let's go for green. We've got green, grass green, machacha green, never heard of that one, lake green, and then we've got fluorescent green. Oh, that'd be quite nice. Let's go for fluorescent green. Oh, that's a nice colour. Look at that. Real nice colour that is. So there are colours. So now we're going to need to put them into our moulds. So I'll get the moulds out and then we'll come back when I'm ready to put them in the moulds. Got my 6 moulds out. And obviously there's going to be more resin here than what we need, so I'm just going to fill all these in with different colours, starting with the lime green, and I'm just going to keep putting them in until we're got 6 colours, 6 trays, so we'll try and get a colour for each tray. So I'm using a syringe just to syringe the resin into the moulds, because we don't want to overfill. Just want to be up to the top of the mould. It's a bit easier than trying to pour it. So there we go, all poured. I had to rush around a little bit towards the end as the resin was starting to cure. It's taken about 40 minutes to mix it. You get about 45 minutes before the resin starts to cure. I've got a timer. At the moment we're on 40 minutes, so from mixing it to doing this is about 40 minutes, so it was starting to go a little bit stiff, hence why I had to rush around a little bit. But we'll let that cure now. I'll demold them. I'll come back when I demold so you can have a look at the colours on them. And then what I'll do is I'll do another load, but obviously I won't bore you through that load. And then once we've got loads more colours, we've got the blues, and then we've got some different coloured greens, and you know, the different purples and that. So we'll do some different colours, and then I'll come back when we're all ready to cast. So I'll see you guys in 24 hours. So here we have the last of the gummy bears. These are the last, so this will be around about 1,000 gummy bears I've done. Loads there, all different colours. So I'm going to demold these, and then we can look at casting them. So get these out, get them all mixed up, and then we'll get some in a pot and get them in some clear resin. So looking forward to this. These gummy bears have taken me a bit of time to do, but I'm looking forward to the outcome. So let's get these demolded. So after spending many nights casting gummy bears, I now have a few, around about 1,000. I think it's 1,000 or 950, something like that. So we are ready now to cast those into our blank that we're going to make our egg out of. So what I'll do is I will move the camera and I'll show you what I've got. I used 19 different colours in the end. One of them was not one from the set, one was a gold, because I thought it'd just be nice to have some goldy ones in there. But all the rest are from the pack that this company have sent me to try. So let's have a look. So here they are, 950 gummy bears, all mixed up. Don't tell Nick, but I nicked her mixing bowl to mix them all up because I haven't got nothing big enough, but she'll never know. Hopefully she'll never know. So anyway, 950 gummy bears, all different colours, greens, blues, purples, yellows. I did them black ones, I did some white ones. I also did some like brownie coloured ones as well. So all different colours, all mixed up, ready to cast into our blank, permanent blank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up a pot of resin, and I'm not sure how much we want to use, but what I'll do is I'll mix a normal amount up, and then whatever I don't use, I'll use on, I'll pour on something else. So yeah, hopefully this is going to work after all this hard work of doing these. It's a bit tedious having to fill every single little one up, but it benefits, and to be honest, they've come out quite well, really well, I think. Where's the camera there? So we've got two different blues, got a dark blue, a permanent blue, and then like a translucent blue. You know, some translucent colours as well as solid colours. Some of the gummy bears where the resin started to cure as I'm getting to the last couple of moulds. There's a couple with a little bit of, you know, where there's been little bits of air on where the pores are, but to be honest, I think they're going to be perfectly okay. Right, so let's get some resin mixed up. I'll come back to you guys when I've mixed the resin up, and then we'll pour it, stick it in the pressure pot, and then we'll see what happens. And we'll fill it up with our gummy bears. So I wanted a random selection of colours. I'm just going to grab handfuls. That was the idea. Oops, chuck them on the floor. That was the idea of making several different colours, so we end up with random colours. We're going to fill this up, and then we're going to pour our resin over the top of it. I know I've got more gummy bears than what I want, but we can always use them in future projects. So just fill it to the top. Don't want to pack it down. I don't want it really tight because I want some obviously clear resin in between it. So we'll give that a couple of minutes for the air to rise on the resin. Being warm, most of the air bubbles should come out of it, and then we'll gradually pour it really slow on our gummy bears, and then we'll just gently give it a little tap, and hopefully all the air will come to the top. Then we'll get it in a pressure pot, leave it overnight, and we'll see what we've got in the morning. It's been standing for about 10 minutes now. A lot of the, or 99% of the air has come to the top. So what we're going to do is pour over our gummy bears nice and slow, because we don't want to create more air bubbles than what we have to. So if we fill it nice and slow, then we shouldn't get too much air trapped into it. So just going to pour a little bit over the middle to start with, and then it's soak through, And then I'm actually going to move over to the side and pour it down the side. So hopefully that should, as it fills up, should force out the air. Take it nice and slow, not to create too many air bubbles. So that's deceiving how much you're going to need. May need all this, may not, may need a little bit more. So we're pouring nice and slow just to try and reduce the risk of getting major air bubbles in it. And with the resin being warm, when we put it in the pressure pot, it should force any air bubbles out of it. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So I've got a few air bubbles coming in there, but hopefully, I mean, I don't mind the odd one. You can't help, you're not going to get rid of them all, but we'll just give it a little bit of a tap, see if we can release any. You appreciate you're going to get the odd one in it because there's a lot of gaps in it, but we don't want them where we're turning. We can fill them afterwards, which is not a problem, but we'll see. Right, so let's get that in the pressure pot. The front of my pressure pot. That's the front of the pressure pot. So we'll stand this in the pressure pot. Just put a stick under that because that's a little bit. I need to clean up. I had a spillage in here not so long ago and I haven't had a chance to clean it out since. So, right, this is pressure pot. I'm actually going to just, I'm not going to top that up, I'm going to leave it as that is. Because it doesn't matter if it drops down a little bit, because we're going to turn it back anyway, and we're going to lose a little bit of it anyway when we turn it. So. Pick the camera up so you can see a bit better, won't it? So just make sure we got the pressure pot down nice and tight, and we'll fill it up with compressed air to force those bubbles out. And the good thing is, with the resin being warm, it should be, a lot of the bubbles should force their way out. So 50 psi, gradually build the pressure up. There we go. So we'll leave that and we'll see what we've got in the morning. So it's been about 3 weeks since I cast this, all nice and dry, nice and hard. The colours in there are absolutely awesome. Some of those gummy bear colours are really, really cool. And you got the transparent and the solid one, so you got two different aspects of different colours, so it looked really good. Obviously every single colour was out of the pigment except for the gold. I made some gold ones separate. But I'm not quite sure what shape I'm going to turn this out of, or turn this into, should I say. My heart tells me an egg, but I always do eggs. But I was thinking something more like a pear drop shape, something a little bit different. So I may be going that way. But before we do that, let's get it on the lathe, get it between centres, and we'll get it tenon turned on this end so we can get it in the chuck, and then we'll decide what shape we want it. So I'll meet you guys over at the lathe.